The truth is, power doesn't come from trying too hard. It doesn't come from over-explaining yourself, from begging someone to see your worth, or from proving you're enough. True influence, the kind that makes people stop and take notice, comes from something far deeper, your energy. Jessica Opare says it clearly: it works every time, not because it's magic, but because it's rooted in psychology, confidence, and clarity. The kind of energy you carry into a room speaks before your mouth does. When you believe in your own value without needing to announce it, that's when others begin to recognize it too. We often think that talking more will convince people, that the louder we are or the more we explain ourselves, the more likely others will understand and respect us. But often it has the opposite effect. What really shifts the dynamic is when you become intentional with your presence. You walk into a room knowing who you are. You hold silence not because you're unsure, but because you're grounded. That calm, collected energy, it disarms people. It intrigues them. And most importantly, it sets boundaries without saying a word. One of the biggest mistakes people make, especially in relationships, romantic, professional, or even social, is trying to earn validation. They chase approval like it's currency, but Jessica reminds us, stop chasing, instead attract. When you're grounded in self-respect, when you understand the silent power of energy, you become magnetic. People are naturally drawn to you because you're not seeking. They feel safe, curious, even inspired in your presence. That's what works every single time. It's not about tricks or manipulation. It's about standing in your truth with no apology. This doesn't mean you don't communicate. It means that when you speak, you do so with intention. You don't over-explain. You don't fill silences with nervous words. And you don't try to soften your truth to make others more comfortable. You express yourself with strength, clarity, and poise. That's how people begin to listen differently. They lean in because you've shown that your words matter. You're not just filling space, you're delivering impact. Another critical piece Jessica touches on is the power of emotional discipline. Responding with emotion all the time weakens your energy. It makes you reactive instead of intentional. People can sense when your mood controls you, and they subconsciously lose respect. But when you choose your reactions, when you show that nothing external can shake your internal world, people immediately see that strength and they respect it. That's how you become the one who leads the room, even without being the loudest. Jessica's message isn't about pretending or putting on a performance. It's about returning to your natural power, that version of you that doesn't seek attention but earns it just by being aligned. That version of you that doesn't lower standards to fit in, but stands firm and lets others rise to meet you. This is what makes people feel your energy long after you've walked away, because they weren't just hearing words, they were feeling your essence. You don't need to fight for space when you realize you are the space. That's why it works every time. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to say less and do less, but be more. Jessica Opare drives this point home with clarity. It's not your words that change how people see you, it's your energy. And energy is shaped not by noise, but by intention. One of the core ideas she explores is how explaining too much, justifying yourself constantly, or trying to convince people of your worth actually backfires. The more you talk in hopes of being understood or validated, the more it signals that you don't fully believe in your own value. People can feel that, and they respond not to what you say, but to what you silently communicate through your energy. When you find yourself always having to explain why you did what you did, or why you're not like other people, you're draining your power. That doesn't mean never clarify yourself. It means choose when it matters. Choose when it's worth the energy. The rest of the time, let your presence speak. People respect those who move with certainty. When you're sure of who you are, you don't get pulled into every conversation trying to defend it. You don't feel the need to constantly explain your boundaries, your decisions, your choices. Instead, you hold them quietly. And that quiet confidence commands more attention than any explanation ever could. Jessica reminds us that confidence is not loud. It's steady, it's rooted, and one of the best ways to build that kind of presence is to stop reacting to everything. You don't need to explain your no. You don't need to justify your standards. You don't need to soften your truth so it fits better in someone else's comfort zone. In fact, the more you do that, the more you chip away at your own power. Let people feel the weight of your silence. Let them wonder, let them sit with your decisions. When you give everyone explanations for free, they stop earning your clarity. This is especially true in relationships. Whether romantic or platonic, the more you feel the need to constantly explain what you bring to the table, the more the other person starts to question if it's really there. On the other hand, when you hold space confidently, when you speak only when it's necessary, and you allow people to observe your consistency rather than hear your justifications, that's when real respect builds. People trust those who don't overtalk. It shows stability. It shows a groundedness that's rare. And let's be clear, this isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about conserving your energy and giving it to people, places, and moments that truly matter. It's about being so rooted in your identity that you don't allow external opinions to rattle your internal peace. When someone questions you and you don't feel the need to defend, that's strength. When someone misunderstands you and you don't scramble to correct them, that's control. When you let your actions and energy speak on your behalf, people not only notice, they adjust. There's a difference between explaining something once with clarity and constantly trying to make others accept your truth. The first is power, the second is desperation. And Jessica Opare teaches that the energy of desperation repels, while the energy of quiet conviction attracts. Every time you withhold unnecessary explanation, you create space for people to truly feel your presence. And in that space, influence grows. People don't remember every word you said, they remember how you made them feel. And when you move from a place of internal certainty, they feel that. So the next time you feel the urge to over-explain, pause. Let silence do the talking. Let your energy fill the room before your voice does. It works not sometimes, but every single time. One of the most subtle but powerful shifts you can make in your life is to stop chasing and start attracting. Jessica Opare emphasizes this point with such clarity because it's the root of everything. From relationships to opportunities, from how people treat you to how the world responds to your presence. Chasing is rooted in fear. It says, I need something outside of me to feel fulfilled, seen, or validated. But attraction comes from wholeness. It says, I am already full, and everything meant for me will meet me where I stand. That shift in energy might seem small, but it changes everything. When you chase, you're in a constant state of proving. You overextend yourself, over-explain, over-give, all in the hopes that someone or something will finally see your worth. But here's the truth Jessica delivers so directly. Your worth isn't proven through effort, it's revealed through alignment. And alignment means knowing who you are, what you deserve, and refusing to shrink just to be chosen. The more you chase, the more you teach the world that your value is negotiable. The more you attract, the more the world begins to respect your boundaries, your silence, your presence. It starts with self-respect, because you can't attract what you don't believe you're worthy of. If deep down you believe love, respect, or success is something you have to earn through struggle or sacrifice, you'll stay in the cycle of chasing. But when you believe those things are natural byproducts of your energy and alignment, you move differently. You no longer beg for love, you become love. You no longer ask to be respected. You carry yourself in a way that commands it. That's what attraction is. It's not passive, it's deeply intentional. Jessica also explains that attraction energy doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means you do the work, but from a place of confidence, not desperation. You speak not to convince, but to express. You give not to be loved, but because you are love. You take action not to be seen, but because you already see yourself clearly. The difference is subtle, but the results are massive. People respond to energy more than anything else, and when your energy says, "I am complete," people either rise to meet you or fall away. And both outcomes are a blessing. This concept is especially powerful in romantic relationships. The moment you chase someone text-first constantly, try to be more likable, overanalyze every response, you create an imbalance. You place yourself below them energetically, but when you lean into attraction, you show up as your authentic self, fully expressed and unattached to outcomes. You let people choose you freely, and if they don't, you don't try to change yourself to fit their preferences. That level of emotional independence is rare and attractive, because nothing is more magnetic than someone who doesn't need you, but still chooses to show up whole. And this doesn't stop at relationships. It applies to friendships, jobs, business opportunities, and social dynamics. The more you chase approval, the more it runs from you. The more you stand in your truth, the more it flows to you. The energy of "I must get this to feel okay" is repellent. The energy of "I am okay either way, and what aligns will find me" is irresistible. Jessica Opare reminds us that you attract not what you want, but what you are. So the work isn't out there, because when you can read a room. Stop chasing, start being, because when you fully step into that energy, it works every time. What weakens your aura more than anything else is a lack of emotional discipline. Jessica Opare makes it unmistakably clear that when your emotions are constantly on display, when you react to everything, when your mood is easily swayed, when your responses are dictated by triggers, you give away your power and people can feel it. Whether consciously or unconsciously, they start to lose respect. Because the truth is, those who can't regulate themselves are seen as unstable, and instability repels trust. Emotional discipline, on the other hand, communicates that you are in control of yourself, and therefore worthy of being taken seriously. We often confuse expressing emotions with being emotionally mature, but there's a difference between healthy expression and emotional leakage. Constantly venting, overreacting, or explaining every single feeling doesn't always serve you. Sometimes it drains your energy and dilutes your influence. Jessica points out that one of the most powerful things you can do is learn to sit with your emotions, process them privately, and respond when calm, not when triggered. That's not suppression, that's mastery, and it's what separates people who live at the mercy of the moment from those who lead the moment. When you lack emotional discipline, people know they can shake you. They know they can press your buttons, and you'll spiral. That knowledge gives them control. But when you respond with calm, when you don't flinch at disrespect, when you set a boundary without yelling or defending, you become untouchable. Your aura becomes impenetrable because you are not ruled by chaos. You are grounded, and grounding is magnetic. It draws people in, not because you're loud, but because you're solid. Unshaken people create safety. People trust what feels consistent and centered. This emotional strength also gives you time. Time to observe, time to understand before you react, time to decide whether someone or something even deserves your energy at all. Every time you react impulsively, you give away that choice. But when you practice discipline, you create space. And in that space, you grow. You see things others miss. You control the pace of the interaction. That's a rare kind of power, and it never has to be spoken to be felt. Jessica emphasizes that emotional discipline is a signal of self-respect. It tells others, "I don't let the outside world govern my inner world." and that's incredibly attractive. People are drawn to those who are calm under pressure, who can feel deeply but still move wisely. It's not about being cold or robotic. It's about being wise enough to know that not everything deserves a reaction. Silence can be a response. Stillness can be strength. A pause can be more impactful than a speech. This kind of energy doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't panic. It trusts when you respond instead of reacting. You show maturity. You show someone who's done the work. And that work is what strengthens your aura. It's what makes people listen when you finally do speak. Because your voice isn't just noise, it's earned. People start to notice that you don't move unless it matters. That your attention isn't scattered, that your time is intentional. Emotional discipline protects your peace, sharpens your focus, and magnifies your presence. Every day offers moments where you could lose control. Someone will test your patience, misunderstand your actions, or attempt to pull you into their chaos. But your power lies in your decision not to meet them at that level. Your strength isn't in how loud you respond. It's in how quietly you maintain your standards. That's the energy that works every time. Reclaiming your personal power doesn't start with others. It starts with you. Jessica Opare speaks with precision when she says the key to becoming magnetic, respected, and truly impactful lies in reconnecting with your core energy, whether that's your feminine softness or your masculine assertiveness. This isn't about gender roles or surface-level traits. It's about understanding the natural strength that flows from being in alignment with your true essence. Because when you're disconnected from that, you become reactive, insecure, and imbalanced. But when you reclaim it, everything shifts: your posture, your tone, your choices, your presence. That's what people respond to without even realizing it. In today's world, people are often pushed into being something they're not. Women are told that softness is weakness, so they overcompensate with hardness. Men are told vulnerability is unattractive, so they suppress their emotions. But the result is the same: disconnection, and disconnected energy is unstable. Jessica reminds us that power doesn't mean dominating. It means knowing who you are, knowing your strengths, knowing that you don't have to perform to be worthy. And from that knowing comes natural authority, not forced, not shouted, but deeply felt. Reclaiming your energy also means learning when to pull back, when to speak, and when to simply be asterisk. Feminine energy, for instance, often thrives in flow, intuition, and receptivity. It doesn't need to chase, it magnetizes. It draws people in through presence, peace, and softness, not weakness, but a quiet strength that cannot be faked. When women suppress that and try to dominate every space with masculine intensity, they burn out, and people can feel that dissonance. Likewise, when men lose their grounded masculine energy, direction, purpose, and calm leadership, they either become aggressive or passive, but never centered. Jessica speaks to this imbalance clearly. Real power is found in restoration, not in force. When you reclaim your natural energy, you stop competing. You stop needing to be chosen. You become the one who chooses. You move with a grace that's undeniable and a confidence that doesn't scream. It simply exists. And the people around you shift in response. You don't even have to say much. It's in your eyes. Your silence becomes louder than your voice. Because when you're aligned, your energy is a broadcast, and people are always listening, whether they know it or not. This internal shift also changes your standards. When you're rooted in your core energy, you no longer tolerate what doesn't align. You're not bitter, you're clear, you're not rude, you're unavailable for nonsense. That's how you reclaim your time, your peace, your joy. Jessica teaches that this is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world told you to shrink, perform, or hide. It's a remembering, and in that remembering, you become powerful again. this shift doesn't require a dramatic performance. It starts with small, daily decisions: speaking slower, standing taller, pausing before responding, choosing peace over reaction, and honoring your own needs without guilt. It's in how you hold your body, how you breathe, how you listen. Over time, these habits rewire your energy, and people feel it. You start to see that it's not about being the best, the loudest, or the most liked. It's about being the most aligned asterisk. Because alignment always wins, Jessica's message is simple but profound. You don't need to fight to be powerful. You only need to remember who you are underneath the noise. When you step back into that space, you don't need to chase respect. It rises to meet you. And the energy you reclaim will work not just sometimes, but every time. One of the most underrated yet transformative truths Jessica Opare highlights is the sheer power of presence. In a world that glorifies noise, constant validation, and digital attention seeking, presence has become a rare currency. But it is this very rarity that makes it powerful. Your presence, how you walk into a room, how you hold space, how you sit in silence, is a language far more powerful than words. People can sense when someone is fully rooted in themselves, when they are not faking confidence but radiating it from within. That kind of presence doesn't need to prove anything. It simply is asterisk, and when it's real, it works every time. So many people rely on external performance to be noticed: loud laughter, forced conversation, exaggerated expressions, when in truth, what creates the deepest impression is quiet self-assurance. It's the way someone maintains eye contact without being aggressive. It's the calm in their body language, the stillness in their energy, and the comfort they feel in not rushing to fill silence. Jessica explains that true presence is not about being the loudest in the room, it's about being the most anchored asterisk. People are drawn to those who appear unaffected, who don't chase attention, who seem deeply at home within themselves. That presence is magnetic. Presence also means being mindful of how you carry your energy. Are you frantic, over-explaining, constantly trying to be liked? Or are you intentional, listening more than you speak, letting others come to you instead of always pushing forward? When you walk into a space, do you feel the need to be seen? Or do you know you are already enough, whether noticed or not? That shift alone changes how people respond to you. Jessica teaches that when you stop trying to perform for approval, you step into real power. You stop dancing for validation and start walking with purpose. People underestimate how sensitive others are to energy. You don't have to say a word for people to feel your confidence, your self-respect, or your insecurity. That's why developing your presence is more than just posture or tone of voice. It's emotional control. It's peace. It's the ability to be still in discomfort, to not rush reactions, to listen fully, to respond only when necessary. That calmness, it commands attention, not the desperate, scattered kind, but the kind that brings admiration, trust, and lasting respect. Jessica also touches on how presence is closely tied to emotional maturity. You don't react to everything that pokes at you. You don't feel triggered by every criticism or disagreement. Instead, you observe, you evaluate, and you choose your response. That control, that discipline, sends a message that you're not ruled by emotion. You're in charge of it. And when people sense that level of composure, they instinctively take you more seriously. You become someone who stands out not because you're loud, but because you're powerful in your quiet. This isn't about pretending to be unbothered. It's about cultivating the kind of inner peace that makes you genuinely unshaken. That kind of presence is earned. It comes from doing the internal work, letting go of the need to impress, and fully embracing your value. When you know who you are, you stop needing others to confirm it, and the irony is, once you stop needing it, that's exactly when people start giving it to you. Because presence is respect in motion, it's confidence without arrogance, and it works, not once or sometimes, but every time. You don't have to prove your worth when your presence already shows it.